not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars.
Hi everyone, my name is Sally and I'm a music leader for the Urban Vocal Group. I'm also a singing and voice teacher and I specialise in contemporary and commercial technique and vocal health. Today's video is continuing on from last week where I was telling you about the warning signs for problems within your voice. So as I said last week, these issues that creep into our voice, it's not anything to worry about to a large extent, but I want you to be very, very careful to notice them when they're creeping in. So like I said, it's nothing to panic about, but please be aware of them and make sure you do take action if you are starting to notice any problems in your voice. If you've not seen that video yet, please go down the page and have a look for, I think, warning signs your voice needs a little bit of TLC, I think I might have called it, or something similar like that. So today is about, if you are feeling like that, what can you do to help make your voice feel better? Now, these are my go-to exercises for people who have maybe oversung a little bit, so who've kind of been singing songs that they maybe shouldn't have, or singing for a long time. Basically, we call it the twos. So too much, too high, too low, too often, you know, that twos. If anything you're doing in too much or too often, then we would want these exercises to come and try and relax your voice down. Obviously, the ultimate goal is that you're not singing the songs that aren't appropriate for your voice, or that you're not singing the songs that are going to be causing you issues. But every now and then, even if you are singing perfectly fine songs for your voice, we will overdo it every now and then. And this is what you can kind of start to do to make that better for you. These are also fantastic exercises for if you're feeling poorly or if your voice is just feeling run down in general, whether that's to do with being ill or to do with just being tired, you know, and a bit stressed. So these exercises are fantastic for anyone to try. What I would say is you need to make sure that you are listening to your own body, and if any of these feel uncomfortable, then please be very, very careful. The first exercise I like to do is actually with the bottle and straw technique, and there is a video that exists on that already, but basically you would just be doing slides. So if you haven't seen that video, what you need to do is you need to get a bottle of water and you need to get a straw, and basically you get a 500ml bottle with a little bit of water, and you blow into the water with your straw, and basically what it does is it creates really good back pressure and it helps to relax your voice down. So that's the first thing I would go and do, is go get your bottle and straws and practice those exercises. There's already a video within the pages for UVG about those, so please go and check that out. So that's the first thing I'd do if my voice is tired, is I'd get onto the bottle and straw. The next thing that we need to do is we need to start bringing our voice back into what we call neutral position, or back to where our voice needs to be. So say I've oversung and my voice is feeling really, really tired, and suddenly I'm sounding like a Kardashian and my voice is down here. What we need to do is we need to start lifting that back up and making sure we're not working too hard. So if I'm down here, then I need to be up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some really gentle, whingy slides, just on thirds at first, and thirds sound like this. Okay, so remember, thirds, fifths, or eighth, whatever you hear, ninths, any of these notes you hear, they are to do with the space between the notes. So we're going for a third today, which means that it's a very, very small gap between these notes, so it's not a big range we're jumping across in the beginning. So we're going to go for being really, really careful not to work too hard, because remember, if our voice has already been battered a little bit, we can't afford to go in and do any more hard work to it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring that really, really gentle sound, and it's really relaxing, it's really, really gentle. It's not a forced sound, it is the smallest sound that you can make without losing the tone, because sometimes you can pull back and it goes, it doesn't want to come out. So one more. Now we don't want to take the range too high, and that may be, those last couple of notes may be a bit too high for you. You only go as far as comfortable with what your voice wants to do. Remember, this is about being kind to it. And if you feel like you've kind of done something too far, then we need to be really, really careful not to push too far again. So we're going to take that to a fifth now. So we're just going to spread that interval out a little bit more. And you may feel a little bit of a squeeze underneath here. Just think, I'm just going to relax, shake that off. The higher I go, the slower I may need to go in order to make sure I don't work too hard. And also I need to remember to put a little bit of cry sound in, just to make that really, really whingy and to protect that sound as it moves higher. So let's try that again. Really gentle, not working too hard, really whingy. Now you may find that a little bit fast as well, and the slower the better really, because you're trying to really stretch out those muscles. So if you are feeling that's too fast, take that really slow as you need to. And so on. And basically it's just about making sure that you're releasing and relaxing each time. Okay, so that's another way that I like to stretch people's voices out. I also like to use the whys. These are all quite whingy, and the whinginess helps to stretch the vocal folds out a little bit more, because you get what's called thyroid cartilage tilt, and this little thing here tilts forward and stretches those vocal folds. So it's almost like you're like kind of having a big stretch up like this, you know. So that's what we're doing for your voice right now. So we're going to come down in this triad. We're going to go why, because we're talking about thirds and fifths. This is for the fifth, the third, and the root note, so the first note. So we're going to go why. Each time it's really whingy, and try and take the work out. Why. Back down. Why. I also like to use this as a warm-up if my voice isn't working so well. So if you are kind of struggling to warm up with your singing voice today, or things just aren't working, these are also really, really good exercises to gently wake up your voice, rather than just going straight in with like a like, you know, like a big sound like that. That's going to cause more pressure. So there's that one. So why. So that's another one of my favorites. Remember, it's the whinginess that helps there. And we're going to go for a little descending sigh. So we're going to go be careful, that's a little bit high. Remember, that's all about the cry again. So that's coming down really, really gently. Because you're starting on the top note, be careful you don't go and try and clench really, really hard. It should just be a really gentle sigh, rather than and trying to push that too far. Okay, so that's one of my favourite things to do, is some slides. And now we're going to do, we're going to modify that one a little bit further, and we're going to go to ma. But you need to be very, very careful with the ma, that we don't go and just let that out. So we're going to go ma. So you're going to really take your time to think about it, and we're going to go down this time. Ma. Ma. Back up. Ma. Ma. Remember to keep quite positive. Ma. 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 Back down. Any of those notes are too high, too low, don't push them. This is about releasing and relaxing. This is also a really nice warm down. So like I said, I can use it for warming up, I can use it for warming down, and all of these exercises are designed to be gentle and not forceful on our voice, to help bring our voice back to that neutral position. Okay, and the last one I'm going to show you is a yawn sigh. Okay, and it's one of my most attractive exercises, I have to say, and it goes like this. It goes ooh. You have to get that big stretch. Don't just go ooh, like that, because you're going to hurt yourself. You've got to make a yawn. Ooh, ooh. So just try that for me a second. So we're just going to practice that sound. Ooh. And you've got a big, big stretch in the back of your throat. It's going to stretch all of the walls of your throat around your larynx and really, really open everything up the back of your throat. So, ooh, ooh, ooh. I just thought I'd just do this on video. This is usually my day-to-day life, but to actually be uploading this to the internet, yeah, that's great. Hope you'll enjoy this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Remember the big deep stretch? Ooh, ooh. And then you can just finish off with Okay, so that sums up all of my favourite exercises that I like to do with people whose voices are suffering, with my own voice when it's suffering, and like I said, as a warm-up, as a cool-down, as a way of releasing and relaxing. If you keep going for those high notes and they keep straining or keep tightening, then these are really good to do in between some of your songs. In fact, when I'm working with people who are professional singers and they are working their voices too much, or they're struggling with losing their voices during sets, what I'll actually get them to do is in between each song, do some of those sounds. So you'll often see, like if I'm going for a drink, like so people in between the sets, setting up the next song, they go, And they can kind of hum just before they take a drink, you know, just one of those things, just to kind of put that into your everyday life, because at the end of the day, people can't hear you that clearly if you are on stage often, as long as you're away from the microphone, that is. But yeah, so it's just kind of making sure that you are thinking logically about your voice. Remember, if it's tight and stressed, if your body was tight and stressed, you would stretch it out and you try and release it down. So please make sure that you keep practicing those exercises and have them in the back of your head for whenever you are singing and your voice starts to feel tired. Often what I see within my singers is if they are if their voice is getting stressed out, if they carry on just singing, they can't sing for much longer and they struggle through the rehearsals for the next few days. If they start to recognise that their voice is getting tired and they start to do these exercises, what then happens is they then can start to release and relax, and then they can carry on singing, probably for much longer than they would have been able to in the first place, just by making sure they're making those adjustments. So think of it as having like a stiff shoulder. You wouldn't just sit there and just be like that all day. You'd be trying to relax it and trying to stretch it out. And your voice is no different. Just because we can't see your voice, it doesn't mean that it doesn't need as much attention as other parts of your body. So go away and practice those. And like I said, the bottom straw technique is really, really helpful for helping you to relax your voice and take some of the stiffness out or any soreness that you might feel and soothe you. So please go and find that video below as well. Please don't forget that we're still welcoming in your videos. We'd love to hear from you, because it's been such a long time since we saw you. We'd love to hear from you about what you've been doing with your singing as well. So please don't forget to get in touch if you need our help with anything, particularly if you're having worries with your voice. Feel free to send a message and we can have a little discussion about that, and I might make a video to upload for you so you've got some exercises to play with. So just let me know if you've got any issues, and obviously let all of UVG know if there's any questions you have for any of us. So I hope you have a good week, and I will see you next week.